Good afternoon to all of you. Here, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank Dr. Wong for his kind invitation to be part of this conference. And today, I'll be sharing with you practical fermentation for longevity, which is fermentation is really my current passion. And how I came to fermentation was that almost 20 years ago, one of my organic farmer friend, he had a bumper harvest of Chinese cabbage. Then in the quest to minimize food waste, I came across the kimchi. So yeah, and since then, there's lots and lots of searching and studying and exploring of this fermentation. Yeah, and I realized that fermentation is not just to extend life of the crops, but it also brings a lot of health qualities, and also it gives even like a deeper food flavors, yeah, to our to the end result. And the most important thing I think I discovered that fermentation is really the quality of time, yeah, and it has given me a lot of time to explore, time to observe life, and also to enjoy the process, of the whole observation process. And the way to healthy, happy life, right? The good food is, we all know that is the main part of it, is very important. Of course, a good rhythmic life with plenty of good rest is important. Love what we do. And more than do what we love, right? We have a good sense of, finding this love in whatever that we are doing, that we may be given, a task that we might be given, that I believe is a very important factor. Social consciousness about our food choices, our lifestyle choices is also play a main part of it. And of course, fermentation, we can ferment our way to longevity. With this current war on bacteria, right? So I guess we all know that, right? We have this, it's somehow, inherent, or we have been educated, to have this fear on bacteria that, we try to eradicate, if all possible, right? All the bacteria, possibility of bacteria in our life through pasteurization, sanitizing, even antibiotics, antiseptics, and whatsoever. And to the extent that, it becomes excessive and it becomes harmful for our health. And this is, I believe, is the main reason why there's this imbalance in our microflora, in our guts and in our body, and also in the environment that we don't see. Yeah, so that's why maybe that's the reason why it's so easy for us to be allergic, to have, like respiratory problems and things like this. Yeah, so this is an interesting correlation between our gut and brain that I always find very fascinating, because I think most of us have experienced this before, that when we have a anxiety, we tend to have diarrhea, and when we have like a strong sadness, we tend to lose our appetite. So this is some of the things that show us that there's this thing about connection between our brain and our guts. Yeah, so we called it butterfly in the stomach, that kind of feeling. Yeah, and for the I think nature, right, has this way of teaching us, how we can do this balancing act. Yeah, like for myself, when I was in my 20s, in my first job, I got this very strong case of tonsillitis, and I was put on antibiotic for over a year. And as a result of that, right, I had this candida problems for like as long as I know, for over 10 years. So that was my experience of this thing about our health. Yeah, the how this microflora, the microflora that is being destroyed can cause so much problems, in our other parts of our body. And that time I realized that during that time when I was having this health issue, it was when I was under very, very a lot of work stress, yeah, for a long period of time, and not until I left my highly stressful job that this problem actually gone away by itself without having to rely on any more antibiotics. Yeah. So this is really something that that I think we all can be aware and observe. Yeah. And one of the interesting thing about our guts is really how we feel is regulated by our guts microorganism. Yeah. And this happy hormone called serotonin in our guts actually shape our sleep, our appetite, our joy, and our happiness. So when we are highly stressed, that's when it goes other way, right? So that's when we have this negative mood, anxiety, depression, and that actually also influence our health in turn. In order to, we know that fermented food is actually one way to bring back that balance. In fact, it's the most economical way, to bring back that balance in our microbiome. So, but most of us are busy, right? So maybe we will think that you can buy a lot of things, sauerkraut, kimchi, tempeh, everything can be bought in the supermarket. But the problem is because of this food technology, and about profit maximization, there are a lot of things that's being added to the processed food, including fermented food. So that's why we are here to share with you. You can actually start by doing DIY. So natural fermentation is possible. It is a culture. The word culture is brings in a lot of picture in my mind. It's an art. It's a culture that we can actually pass on to our future generations. So culture is also, in short, a starter for a fermentation, and it's a traditional food processing technology. The benefits of it, of course, is the probiotic. In Greek, is a Greek word called for life. Probiotic comes from it, and that means it's beneficial to life, right? So lots of goodness, and it's also a cold cooking method. Therefore, the food is already pre-cooked, so therefore it's easier for us to pre-digest, but it's cooked without heat. So therefore, you still have all the enzyme, all this bacteria, all the goodness that we want in our fermented food. So raw food is good. It's good for healing. It's good to be a temporary remedies, but in the long run, we still need cooked food, and also fermented food to nourish us. And I'd like to introduce to you my fermentation guru, someone who has inspired my fermentation journey. His name is Sandokas. You can visit him on YouTube, and also he has published a few fermentation books on fermentation that is very helpful if you are keen to explore wild fermentation at home. Captain James Cook is one early story about how fermented food actually helps health generally. In the I think during the 1700s, I think that's when Captain James Cook has a lot of voyages, right? So a lot of sailors actually died because of scurvy, and due to lack of vitamin C, because you can't bring fresh veggie and fruits to the sails. So Captain Cook was given this sauerkraut, and at the end, everyone came back safely. So that's the early story of benefits of sauerkraut or fermented vegetables. Benefits of home fermentation is a lot. It's a great way of preserving food, and it has make food easy to digest. And this is very interesting. It can actually boost the nutritional value of food. Like sauerkraut has higher content of vitamin C compared to cabbage. Gives the food different texture, so therefore you have more variety. And also, you will have food ready any time of the day. and it can improve our environment, yeah, inside our body and also in our surrounding. And there is this happy probiotics in lacto-fermented vegetables. Yeah, very interesting. It's called Lactobacillus plantarum. And that is the one that helps to boost our mood, you know. So if you are in a low mood period, right? Yeah, I would suggest that give it a try. Yeah, try some fermented food, especially kimchi and sauerkraut. And yeah, it is a very economical way to bring back the diversity and the balance in our gut's microflora that helps our health. Yeah, and all you need is very, very simple tools and also simple ingredients like salt. Air is free, and you just need to make sure that it's airtight or not. Yeah, and temperature. Malaysia has perfect temperature for fermentation. Yeah, and of course, good ingredients. And lacto-fermented the products are mostly vegetables and fruits, yeah, and of course milk. And this is my favorite lacto-fermented vegetable sauerkraut because it's so easy to make, and you can make a lot, and you can keep it outside fridge for months. Yeah, it doesn't spoil. And this is some that we are familiar with. Wild yeast fermentation, yeah, so it's not using the yeast. Yeah, so things that you know, we eat almost every day. And mold fermentation is also another one of my favorite, especially tempeh, because soybeans is very important that we eat it when it's fermented. In fact, our ancestors know it. So therefore, you see that a lot of soy products that we eat, right, are in fact fermented, like tempeh, natto, miso, soy sauce. Yeah, because fermentation actually helps to minimize this binding of calcium, right, in the kidney that cause kidney stones. So therefore, our ancestors knew this, and they hardly eat soybeans that is not fermented. Yeah, and GMO soy. Yeah. Always choose organic or biodynamic soybeans, yeah, to avoid GMO, which is something that is not natural at all and is not there's no benefit, yeah, to us, to our health, to us as an individual, as a consumer of these products. It's tempeh. Tempeh is the new superfood, yeah, and these are all the tempeh that we make. And very fun to play with. You can make it into all sorts of shapes that you like. And tempeh, the benefits is a lot. Yeah, you can see that lots and lots of nutrients in tempeh, right? Including protein, calcium, phosphorus, and iron. And there are many ways that you can enjoy tempeh. Yeah, it's a very versatile ingredient. Yeah, and a question that often asked, is home fermentation safe? Just like home cooking, right? We don't question our mom or grandma's cooking, yeah, whether it's safe or not. And always trust your senses, yeah. And fermentation is different from rotting, yeah. Fermentation is really an intentional or a controlled microbial transformation using temperature, salt level, and the ventilation, yeah. So it's totally safe. The best ingredients for your successful fermentation is a good mood and good intention, and of course, give it time. Yeah, and you can also ferment your kitchen waste through composting and making it into eco-enzyme. And what is most important is really not just about the quality of food that's good for our body, but about us as a socially responsible food eater. Yeah, that through our choices of food, we also consider the impact to the planet. Yeah, and it is our journey, right, to revive the culture of food fermentation that brings us together today. And it is our joy to share with you how this friendly microbes, right, actually can do a lot, do so much to our food, health, and planet. Yeah, and I believe that longevity actually begins from our dining table and from our fermented jar. Yeah, it is our vision that there shall be a fermenter in every family, and we wish you lots of health and happiness with these good foods brewed with time. Thank you.